Hey, all y'all out there in Hippity Bobcat country. I'm Mrs. Loper, and I am your librarian here at school. So, I'd love to introduce myself to you, and I hope that you come and introduce yourself to me too at the library. So, I grew up in Fresno, and I lived here until I was your age, and then I moved down to a little town near San Diego. But after I graduated school, my sister, who was older, lived up here. And so I came and I moved in with her and I went to Fresno City College. And then I transferred later to Fresno State and I graduated I'm still at school. I'm going to a university called Fresno Pacific University, and I'm doing that to get additional education so that I can keep learning about how I can help you be successful at school, and I can teach you all about the incredible books that are out there that you should be enjoying, okay? Now, some things about myself. I'm a boy mom. I have twin 5-year-old boys. Their names are Arlo and Levi. And then I have a 7-year-old named Miles. And we all live in here in town. They love to play Legos. They love Hot Wheels. They love to draw. They are obsessed with Minecraft. They love to play in the dirt. And their favorite thing to do is go camping. I have some pets. I have a dog named Murphy. She's like a little black terrier and she's really old. I have a cat named Katie. She's super cool. And I also have a tarantula right now with snakes before as pets. I've had fish. I've had tropical fish, they live in salt water. I've had, let's see what else. Oh, I had a rat and I had a ferret once. I don't recommend ferrets. They're crazy. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about my family. Oh yeah, my husband, he is a teacher also. He's a teacher at Awani Middle School in Fresno, but he taught here for 7 years. So you might have some family, maybe older brothers, sisters, or your cousins that may have gone to Tehipity in past years and they had Mr. Loper as their science teacher. And now he teaches at Awani, and so you may have some family members that know of him from there too. So what else? I love to watch sports. I love to snowboard. I love to run. I love to ride a bike. I like to be really active, play ball with my boys. We go camping. I love to be outside. I'll go to the beach. I'll go to the mountains. I'll go to the desert, wherever. I like being creative. I like doing crafts, gardening. I love to read, and I love to sleep. Sleeping in is like one of my favorite things to do ever. Okay, so technology. I am learning technology and I am learning so much. I'm not perfect at it. I have to do a lot of investigation sometimes to try and solve it. But if you need help or your teachers need help, they can come to me for technology difficulties that they're having, and I will do my best to help you out. I can do it also. This is important to know because of what we're going through in the world. But if you end up having to be at home for quarantine or because you get sick, I can help you over Teams. So don't hesitate to reach out through Teams, send me a chat. My name is, again, Mrs. Loper, and I will help you out. This picture was taken from the front door of our library. There are some extra precautions we are taking to help everyone who visits the library stay healthy. One of these is a sign-in sheet. Please write your name and the time on the sign-in sheet as you enter. Also, take advantage of the hand sanitizer available to you at the table and to the left near the counter. I mean, why not? Please adhere to the no food rule in the library. Let's be honest, nobody wants to touch a keyboard with ketchup dripped on it or a book with hot Cheeto dust on the pages. I think we can all agree that it's just a bad idea all around, so no food. And of course, please keep your mask all the way up onto your nose. Covering your mouth and nose is the best way to stay healthy yourself, and you're doing it to keep your friends and family healthy too. Let's all take care of each other right now and always. On the counter behind the sign-in desk, you can find a copy of class time schedules, information calendars for sports and clubs, and informational flyers about current events happening at school and in our community. I also have scholastic book catalogs you can pick up and peruse at your leisure. If you find something you'd like to purchase, I'd gladly place an order for you. So swing on in. We are open Monday through Thursday, 7:30 in the morning, at the same time our school gates. And on Fridays, we will be open after advisory. Our library is divided into sections. Become familiar with the classifications of books in the library and in which section they are located in. Knowing this will make it easier for you to find what you're looking for, whether it's something for a class research project or a book for your enjoyment. If you're looking for a good read, as you walk past the sign-in desk, head to the fiction section that's on your immediate right on the western wall. It has books that are not true. Instead, they are stories written from the author's imagination. It's separated into genres or types of stories like fantasy, adventure, historical fiction, humor, mysteries, romance, science fiction, and realistic fiction. The fiction section also includes special collections like graphic novels, manga, books written in Spanish, picture books, and easy readers. Not sure what genre of story you like? That's okay. A librarian can help you figure that out. In addition to the fiction portion of the library, there are 3 more important sections of the library that contain materials that are based on facts and research. We're going to look a little closely at this portion of the library. After passing the sign-in desk, as you walk into the space, there is a long wall of bookshelves just past where the library staff desks are. Towards the back of this long line of shelves is the reference section. This section has reference texts like encyclopedias, atlases, maps, bibliographies, calendars, dictionaries, and thesauruses. Most of these are tall, thick books. They all have facts about a single subject or many subjects. Some are sets of volumes. Some reference sources are a single book. Okay, let's rewind all the way back to the entrance of the library. When you enter the library and walk into the space by passing the counter, there is a long wall of nothing but bookshelves. That long bookshelf along the right side wall, or the southern wall, is divided into 2 important parts, the fiction books and the nonfiction section of the library. When you're facing that wall, the fiction books are on the left-hand side of the projector hanging from the ceiling. The nonfiction, or you might see the abbreviation NF, books contain facts about different topics. This is where you come if you want to find out real information about topics. Oh, okay, let's go all the way back to the entrance to the library again. When you enter the library and walk in passing the counter, there is a long wall of nothing but bookshelves to your left. Then there's the biography section. These are books about real people. The people in these books are written about come in 3 formats. Autobiographies, which is a person writes about themselves. Memoirs, a part or event of a person's life. or biographies. Someone else writes about a person. Lastly, there are online resources available to you. In the Clever app on your laptops, when you scroll down to the instant login applications, there are apps that can help you find nonfiction sources. Also in Clever, under school applications, there are apps that can help you write a document that lets your teacher know that on your research projects you are an incredible researcher and what sources you use to get your info. And on the Destiny app in Clever, or through the Tehipity website that can be found with a quick Google search, you can also find the resources we have for you through the library homepage. This includes online databases, encyclopedias, cool websites, study websites or applications, ways to find and check out physical books in the library, and much, much more. That's an overview of what the library has to offer in general. Each of these sections is special in its own way, so I will be going into further detail in the other sections of this video. Welcome to the Tehipity Middle School Library Media Center. Okay, Bobcats. In this section, I'm going to go over the print and electronic resources that are available to you in the library. These are the places in the library where you can find information with true facts in them. You can use these sections to build your knowledge about topics or research projects, which your teachers will assign this year. This is a map of the library. Let me show you the sections and their locations on this map. This is the door where you enter. I'll highlight it with a star. I'm going to give you information about all the reference section, nonfiction section, the biography section, and the online resources, which you can access with your own laptop, the computer lab, or the desktop computers in the library. Come hang out in the library when you work on your research projects, and we can help you navigate any of these sections and find the resources you need. First, let's get familiar with the reference section. This section is to the left side of the library, near the water fountain and rear exit. The reference section is chock full of reference texts. The label on the side of these books are marked with the letters REF. These are large books that contain unshakable established facts. The information inside has been compiled by not a single author, but groups of researchers who are the authorities on a topic, sometimes hundreds or thousands of researchers and authorities on a subject, who have gone over the information with a fine-tooth comb. They often come in a set of volumes like manga or anime do, and are laid out inside like a dictionary, where everything is sorted alphabetically. These may dedicate part of a page, maybe a whole page, or sometimes as little as a small paragraph to a topic. Beginning your research here with reference texts will get your research started because they will give you a summary of the subject you're researching, allowing you to start building the foundation of your research without having to read an entire book. Here are just two examples of reference texts. There's reference texts that are like the Encyclopedia Britannica books. It is a set of volumes that gives information about a ton of topics, from history, medicine, science, language, art, and much more. On the other hand, some reference sources are on a single subject, like the Star Wars Character Encyclopedia. That's a real reference source, by the way. Reference texts are most often formatted like a dictionary, but instead of the definitions for words, the entries provide facts about topics or events. Topics are listed in alphabetical order, so if you're researching the Civil War, you would want to find the volume that has topics starting with C for civil. Next is the nonfiction section. It is on the right-hand side of the library towards the back. The nonfiction section has books containing facts about a bazillion different topics. Okay, that's an approximate number, but it seems like a bazillion. This section is where you would go to get informed about the strategies used in modern combat fighting, or how to fold origami. Maybe you want to learn how to draw manga characters, or read about Greek gods and goddesses. If that's the case, you'll come to the nonfiction section. You could even look up if all that stuff you heard on Shark Week to see if it's true or not. Learn about almost anything you want in the nonfiction section. Since there are so many subjects, there's a really clever way to find the subject that you want. It's called the Dewey Decimal System. These numbers separate and organize the many topics that are included in the nonfiction book section. The numbers start with 000 and go all the way to 999.99. Each nonfiction book's binding has a label that has a number that often includes a decimal on it, and that is the primary way that you locate a book in that area. The decimals can look intimidating and scary, but if you think about the decimal numbers in terms of money, it's easy. Think instead of the Dewey number 330 and 12 right here. Think $330.12, like on the price tag on an item you want to buy in the store. Then you will be able to figure out that the Dewey Decimal numbers on the books increase or get bigger as they go through the shelves. After you locate the Dewey Decimal number for your nonfiction book, you might find that there are many books with that same number on them. So the second thing you use to locate the book is the author's name, right here, GRE. The first three letters of the author's name will appear under the Dewey Decimal number. Sometimes if the book has no one author, the first three letters of the editor name or that book's title will be there instead. So I could look up a bazillion in the reference section from before along the left wall. Then I could head over to the right side of the library and use a nonfiction book to find out just how big a bazillion actually is. Okay, these are the Dewey Decimal System classifications in the nonfiction section of the library. When I say classification, I mean each group of 100 in the Dewey decimals. For example, the general works classification is from 000 to 099. It includes reference books about news, information sciences, and even library sciences. Next is the philosophy classification with the Dewey numbers 100 to 199. It contains topics like haunted houses, the paranormal, inspirational works, and feelings, just to name a few. The 200s cover religion, faith and religious systems, world religions, and myths from around the world. The 300s are about governments, laws, civil rights, criminal system, education, fairy tales, and celebrations around the world. The 400s are all about language. The 500s include all things science related, but like astronomy, dinosaurs, climate, math, plants, natural disasters like volcanoes and earthquakes, and chemistry. The 600s has info about technologies like engineering, agriculture, medicine, accounting, and manufacturing. The 700s include works about art, photography, sports, and music. The 800s have literature and poetry from all over the world. And finally, history and geography is the topic covered in the 900 classification of Dewey. It covers archaeology, info about countries all over the world, as well as their history, and of course about America, including info about the states and our history. One of my favorite sections in the library for both knowledge and to read for enjoyment too is the biography section located on the left side of the library next to the circulation desk. These books are written about real people. These are books with about a person, and the labels on the spine have the number 92. Below the 92, they will also have the first 3 letters of either the author's last name or the person the book was written about. So Michelle Obama's autobiography would have 92, then OBA, because those are the first 3 letters of her last name. A biography about Martin Luther King Jr. would have 92, then KIN for King. There are 3 different types of books in the biography section. First, there are autobiographies. These are books written in the first-person point of view where an author writes about themselves. Then there are the memoirs. These are also written in first-person point of view, but it's the account of just part of a person's life, like the author's experience during World War II, or if an astronaut were to write about their travels to the moon. They don't write about their whole life, just that portion. Biographies are also included in the biography section. These are, again, a story about a real person, but they are written from third-person point of view by someone else. It is not the person themselves writing the book. Lastly, but certainly not least, are the online research resources available to you. You can use the computer lab or the desktop libraries, the desktop computers in the main room of the library to access these. And of course, they're available on your laptop as well. In the Clever app on your laptops, when you scroll down to the Instant Logins application, I'll point out a few that can help you find nonfiction sources. The first is Britannica School. This is a database chocked full of about a bazillion different sources, including reference entries, articles, periodicals, and much, much more. This is a phenomenal resource for research. Obviously, for there's a bazillion resources here, just like the nonfiction section. Then there's Destiny Discover. This app will allow you to search for the library for physical books in the library from your laptop or phone, and you can put them on hold. When you put a book on hold, the library staff will get a notification that says that you would like to check out that book. We find it in the shelves for you and check it out to you. You just stop by that library and pick it up. We will have it waiting for you. Destiny Discover also has ebooks, books that you read online like Kindle books, and audiobooks, books that are recorded and read to you. You can download and read these from any device. Sora is an online library and also has a ton of both audiobooks and ebooks you can check out. You have access to Fresno Unified School District's collection and the Fresno County Public Libraries as well. You can check out these books or put a hold on them if they're not available. You can download these and enjoy them without Wi-Fi. You can also take notes, highlight, and bookmark pages in these sources too. Teaching books is also great. It allows you to search for books, gives you information on the books, resources, articles, book talks, and book trailers, many by the authors themselves. Great place to get primary sources on books. Again, in the Clever app on your laptops, when you scroll down to the school applications, there you'll find Noodle Tools. When it comes to time to draft a works cited or references page that lets your teacher know all of the resources you dove into to conduct your research, this is an invaluable tool that will help you identify which information you need to include, format your sources, and import a draft into a Word document for you. On the Destiny app in Clever or through the Tehipity website that can be found with the Google search online, a quick Google search, you can also find the resources we have for you through the library homepage. The databases at the top left have a ton of sources, including reference entries, articles, periodicals, and much more, just like those available in Clever that I showed you a second ago. For example, ABDO books right here is a great way to find nonfiction ebooks. The copyright and fair use resources are there to make sure you aren't using anyone's intellectual property without their permission or plagiarizing. 3 of the 4 resources listed in the language arts section on the right are also to help you write the works cited or reference pages for your research projects. They are also listed under bibliography resources further down the column right here. Additionally, there are tons of other educational tools you can access. It may seem overwhelming to you now, but I will be in your classrooms teaching you how to use some of them, and you can always stop into the library and we will gladly help you find what you need. That concludes the info in this presentation about the resources and what they have available for you to access, whatever your needs. Stay tuned for what other parts of the library have in store for you. Hey everybody, I'm going to show you how to use the Tehipity Library webpage as well as the catalog so that you can search for books and resources. So you're just going to open up your internet browser and then type in Tehipity. Okay, and mine autofills. So this is the web address for the new website, tehipity.fresnounified.org. So I'm going to hit enter. And from here, you go to our school, first tab. Here's a whole column for the library. Okay, so on the library main page, I'm going to show you that first. That's our web page. This has our hours on it about the computer lab. This is our online database resources. So if you click on this, it has the databases that are available to you for your research projects. And these are also on Clever as well. Okay. And actually, if you click on these links, it takes you directly to Clever. So you won't need the username and password anymore. But if I go back up here and I click on the ProQuest options, these are different, and you will need the username and password for these. Okay. So when you go to use the ProQuest databases, then use these username and passwords that are listed here. Okay, this is a great collection of databases, so make sure that you use it when you're doing your resource, because otherwise you'll be leaving a lot of information on the table that you could have included in your report. And then over here in Great Books, these are new additions to the library or things that have been recommended by other kids. And I'll show you, let me show you the best way to see those. So I'm actually going to scroll down here and go to Follett Destiny. And this is going to take me to the catalog. So if there's like a physical book that I want to check out, then I can just type it in here. Now you can do different searches. You can do keywords. So let's pretend that you're looking for something about origami. You could type in origami and then hit keyword. I think I spelled it wrong. So let's try that again. Origami. And then anything that has origami in it is going to pop up. So you have all these different things that you can choose that are about origami. And let me just show you this. Okay, anything with an E is an ebook, meaning that you can get it straight to your device and read it electronically, okay? Anything with a speaker is an audiobook. And anything with a book icon right here, that's a physical book that you would find in the library on the shelves, okay? With like paper pages and a cover. So these are books that you hold. Okay, so now let's pretend that you're like, hey, I want this ebook. Well, all you do is go to open. And then what's going to happen is it's going to take you through to the Fresno Unified School District Digital Library, and then you can just go borrow, and you can check it out. Okay, and as soon as you check it out, you can read it in your browser. You can also download these so that they don't take any data too, and you don't have to have an internet connection. But here's your book. And so you can read through it. There it is. Pretty cool. All right, let me go back and I will show you an audiobook. So this one says play. So you're just going to click on play. It's going to take you to the same place. And then you hit, let's just listen to a sample this time. And here it is.
Recorded Books presents an unabridged recording of The Strange Case of Origami Yoda by Tom Engelberger.
Nice, right? Okay. So let me see. And then if you want the physical book, you can look at this. Here's the title. Then there's the call number. This is going to be found in the nonfiction area. So in the 700s, so 736. And then you're going to look for the first three letters of the last name of the author. Here's the author's name. So you can see that it's the first three letters of his name. And then you can click on it. And it gives you information about this book. Okay. If you want to find it, you can click find it, and it will again give you the location of it. And it will also give you other titles that are similar. Okay. So that's just using keyword. But if you know which book you want to read, you can also do that. So let's put Harry Potter in here, and then you can even hit enter and just see what pops up. But if you're really specific about what you want, then you can hit title or author. So again, we have an audiobook, we have an ebook, lots of audiobooks and ebooks about Harry Potter, and then lots of physical books. So on this one, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, it tells you where the call number is. That's fiction. So the fiction section of the library, and you're going to look for THO. Okay. And if you look over here, it says 0 of 1 available. That means that they're all checked out. So you won't be able to check this one out. But this one says, let's see, this one says 1 of 1 available. So if you wanted to get the Spanish Prisoner of Azkaban, then you could get this one as well. Okay. All right. Now, over here is Destiny Discover. Okay. And you already saw it when I opened up the ebook and the audiobook for the Origami Yoga series. So this is the same page, but this is just the home page. So you can see all the things that are in, you can see which ones are out. And then there's topics down here. So you can just kind of explore this and see what's available. And anything that has this icon on it, that is an audiobook. So they're going to read it to you. Anything that has an e-book is an ebook. So you can electronically read that book. And then anything that has a regular book icon is a physical book that you hold in your hand that's made out of paper and has paper pages. So what you would do for this one is you just click on that book, and then you can check it out. If you want to read more about what this book is about, the little overview, then you can hit read more and view more details. If you're like, hey, I like this book, you log in. It logs you in through Clever. Just use this Fresno single sign-on. And go ahead and sign yourself in. And then what you'll be able to do is hold it. Okay, what happens when you hold this book is that I get a little notification and it says, hey, Sarah she put a hold on this book. So then what I do is I go find this book for you on the shelf. I pull it off the shelf. I take it over to my computer. I scan it, check it out to you. And then you come, fly by the library and pick up your book. And that's it. So it's like DoorDash, or I guess maybe Instacart for your library books. So that is an overview of the web page for Tehipity Library, and also how to look for books on our catalog and how to put holds on them. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to come into the library and ask anytime, or to message me on Teams. So when you do online research, here are some helpful hints for you. Well, the first thing that we need to cover is search engines. What are they and how do they work? So a search engine is a program that searches for information uploaded to the World Wide Web. These include Google, Bing, Yahoo. There are others, many others. And they are known by the acronym of SERP. Okay, so these are Search Engine Results Page. And that's what comes up when you put something in the search field, like you see right here. So this gives you a list of all the documents, all the images, all the videos, all the other things that come up when you try to search for something. So keep in mind that these articles that pop up when you search something, those are not the most credible or the most accurate. Those are the most popular. So these are not necessarily going to be the best for your research. In fact, they're probably not going to be the best for your research, and especially when you're trying to find accurate and reliable sources for a research project at school. So some more strategies. Oops, let's see here. Some other online search strategies are to know the purpose of websites. There are so many websites, and they have these things at the end of them, and they're called domains. Some you may recognize. In fact, I'm pretty sure you'll recognize all of them. There's .org, .net, .com, .gov, .edu. And if you've never paid attention to these, you should start, because some of them are trustworthy and some of them are reliable, others are not. So you need to know what type of website you are looking at and who the audience is. That means, who are they writing this for? All right, so you're going to need to check the URL before you click on it. So for example, Wikipedia and YouTube often come up when you do online searches. But the information in Wikipedia and YouTube can be given to the website by anyone. Anyone can contribute who wants to post material, and they don't have to be an expert at what they are, at the information that they're including. And they don't have to show that it's factual. So there could be anything posted to YouTube and anything included in Wikipedia. An organization, okay, an organization is going to have the URL .org. And that is originally intended for nonprofit groups and museums, and things like schools can also use them. They're organizations that have information pertaining to a certain type of forum. Businesses can now use as well. So that is something to keep out for. Also, we have commercial or network, and those are .net and .com domains. So these are used for businesses and personal web pages, and they could be biased towards users and be influencing them to buy products from their pages as well. Okay, these could be, again, posted by anyone, and they don't have to have any research, any guarantees, or anything that could be reliable or accurate on their web pages. Now these are in green. Green means go. .gov and .ed domains are always going to be something that are reliable and accurate. You should still double check, of course, but these are good to go. Okay, so .gov are websites that are affiliated with government, federal or state agencies, and so they have to post reliable and accurate information because they are serving the general public. So any United States government website has to have reliable information on it because it is helping all of the people that live in the United States. .edu domains are for education and online encyclopedias like Britannica School or Fresno Unified. Fresno State University and other academic sources like maybe Yale or a hospital school, they may post web pages, and when they do, you're going to know that these are reliable and trustworthy. Online search strategies. How can I check the accuracy of my website information? Well, there's certain things that you can look out for. You can watch for personal pages or forums. Websites like GeoCities or AOL.com belong to individuals. That's why they have a .com. And they may or may not be an expert. They may or may not have done research. They may or may not include truthful and reliable information. So you don't want to use websites where anyone can post. Another example of this is YouTube, Twitter, social media. A lot of people get their information from social media, and anyone can post that. They do not have to be an expert. You also want to look out for a revision or a recent date. If a website has an old revision date or updated date, then it most likely does not contain accurate data. A website needs to be checked regularly for dead links or for information that has been updated. And if it is not, then it's old and the information is most likely not accurate and not reliable. I'm going to bounce over here. Check more than one source. The information that you find in one source, if it is accurate and reliable, then most likely you are going to be able to find that same information on another source that corroborates that that information is true. So find the same information on other websites to validate facts. You can also check the links to other resources to corroborate. Okay, those are some tips to help you as well. Read the About section. Look to see if the website is associated with another place or name that is familiar and trustworthy. In the About section, there is a ton of information. It can tell you what kind of business or organization it is. It can tell you who the authors are. It will most likely give you links to organizations or directly to contacting those people if they have accurate and reliable information. Because those people, if they put their name on there for you to contact them, then you can pretty much count on the fact that they have to be responsible for the content that they're putting on the website. Another thing is to search the author. Use a search engine to look up the author's name, organization, or business to verify that their credentials are as an expert. I could put on the web that I am a firefighter, but unless you go and search my name and try to find out what my credentials are, then you may not know that I just put that online to make myself sound cooler. And the last note I have here is notice the clutter. Always be cautious of websites that look cluttered with advertisements or are trying to sell you something. If they have advertisements about diet tips and tricks and products, that's not a good sign. If they have advertisements about how to get money from the government, not a good sign. The more advertisements, the more affiliated with sales the website is, and the less reliable it's going to be as far as accurate information goes. And this is a big old warning. Just because it is in the first link does not mean it is the best for your research needs. When you click into Google and you do a Google search, the first thing that pops up is going to be the most popular website. And the reason that it's the most popular is usually based on whether or not it is linked to other pages. The thinking behind this is that the good websites will be linked to websites that are of lesser quality, so that those lesser quality websites can have better information on them because they have linked you to a better website with better information. But beware, because that is not always true. You're going to need to go back and look at those other tips to see if the websites look like they're accurate and reliable or not. All right, everybody, let's talk about some keywords and Boolean operators that can help you with your research. So Boolean operators may kind of sound weird, but they're super helpful. They're simple words like and, or, not, and, or, and not, that are used to combine and exclude certain words from your search. So this gives you a more focused result as far as sources are concerned, and it helps you by eliminating websites, and so you don't have to sort through as many different resources as would pop up if you just normally search for certain things. So using the word or, it gives you results with the broadest range of websites. So for example, they said Bigfoot or Sasquatch results list any websites with either word. And this search returns the most results to sort through. So let me do a YouTube search on this. Okay, so what I'm going to put is I'm going to put King Tut. And I want anything that also includes his real name, Tutankhamun. Make sure I spell it right. Hamun. I always get that M-U-N at the end. Okay, so I want stuff that's about King Tut and Tutankhamun. So as we see here, I've got a lot of good research that pops up. 60 Minutes is a news organization. The Daily Mail is as well. National Geographic, those are organizations. So that gave me information on both. What happens if I want to use the word and? Well, the word and narrows results to websites with both keywords. So it's going to give me both King Tut and Tutankhamun resources. Okay, so now I've gotten different resources. They've given me some extra. National Geographic. That's an organization, so those are good sources to use. This is a news source, as is this. So it's given me really good resources, and it looks like more, and that they're more reliable than when I used OR. So two different Boolean operators, and or, and two different lists of resources I've gotten. Now let's take a look at not. Well, for this one, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go down. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to the search. I'm going to make this simple. So what I want is I want stuff on LeBron James. Okay. So I'm just going to put LeBron James. That would be my general search, okay? So this gives me stuff about LeBron James, sports and African Americans, Miami Heat, who he played for, Dwayne Wade, who he played with, Pat Riley. So information about different articles where his name just appears. Now, what if I want to get more specific about that? What if I want to research LeBron James and what else? And education. What if I want to know about him and education? Like, where did he go to school? What does he do for education? So this is what would pop up. LeBron James, it looks like his biography, then something about the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I can just look and it says he was a high school star. Okay, some more about Pat Riley. So other information about it, but it's in a different order. So it's probably, as we know, it's going to be giving us the most popular or the most relevant as far as LeBron James and education. Okay. And don't forget that when you use these, you can also go to related and actually, so it's going to give me different resources based on what I use as far as Boolean operators are concerned. Now let's take a look at quotes. Okay, what happens when you put the Boolean operator quotes or quotation marks around your work? All right, for this one, let's go ahead and do a Google search. And using multiple operators with your keywords can focus your results to the most relevant results. So let's say that I want to research the women's roles in the 1950s. Let's put that. And go ahead and Google search. Okay, well, the first thing that pops up, whoa, I think I clicked on it, is Mrs. America in the 1950s. Okay, and then feminism, women's rights, and feminism. Well, that's not really their role. Women in the 1950s, maybe that. Oh, here we got some role stuff. The ideal woman. Okay, so these may be good resources, but I'm going to have to sort through them a little bit. So let's just see what happens when I put quotation marks around these. Around these two. You know what? Let's just put, I really want to know about the roles. So I'm going to put women's roles in quotation marks because that's really what I want to focus on. And I want to make sure those two terms are together when they're in articles. So here we go. Let's see. Oh, we still got Miss America. What happened? What? Women's roles. Okay, women's roles. Okay, so now we got 1950s and the 1960s. Feminism, the lack of women's roles in society, women role. So we got more resources based on those terms together in quotations. Okay, and it seems like less stuff that's kind of random, like the Miss America. Okay, Miss America is not listed twice, or I'm sorry, not listed first in this list. So that is how Boolean operators can help you do your research.
Oh, I hear you're writing a research report, huh? Well, before you slay it by jumping into all the fun and enlightening information you have to explore and report it out to your teacher, I need to give you some education about copyright, intellectual property, and plagiarism. Knowing about these important aspects of research will help you know how they protect creators and how to use what others create and share responsibly and correctly. Okay, so let's pretend that you found this song and you love it and you know your friend would love it too. So you download it and then send it to them. Cool, right? Well, actually, you may just have committed a crime. I know it sounds crazy, but you just stole someone else's work and then gave it to another person without the writers of the song knowing it. The band who wrote and performed that song just lost money because you gave it to your friend, when otherwise your friend would have most likely had to buy the song. And remember, that's how a band makes the money that they live on. Think about if you created something really amazing and then someone took your work and sent it to a bunch of people. Even worse, they might not even tell those people you made it. You'd probably be pretty upset. And that's where copyright comes into play. What someone else creates is a special thing and it has a special name. It's called intellectual property. Explained simply, what comes from someone's brain or what someone makes is their property, and it's protected under the United States Constitution. According to the founding fathers of this country and the website Constitution Annotated, the Congress shall have the power to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries. Now, do you see how I told you where I got my information? I just gave credit to the writers by telling you that the information can be found in the Constitution and where you can find it on the website too. Anyway, I digress. So let's get back to the topic at hand, intellectual property. According to copyright.gov, any original work that is created and fixed in a tangible form that is perceptible either directly, like when something is in written form or a piece of artwork that you can see and touch, or with the aid of a machine or device, like when it's recorded or typed, is intellectual property of the original creator. In other words, if a work is written, recorded, created online, or with software, it's automatically owned by the creator and their ownership is protected under copyright law. It's just like when you buy a car. It's yours, and if someone steals it, they're going to get in some trouble, right? Except that if that car were your intellectual property, you would have designed and custom built the car yourself instead of having to buy it. So what are some examples of things that are created and then given intellectual freedom? Well, here are just a few examples. Anything written like books, novels, articles, journals, poems, diaries, and song lyrics. Artwork like painting, sculpture, murals. Works of design like architecture or jewelry. Audio recordings, which is something you can listen to like music, audiobooks, radio shows, or an orchestra's performance. Video recordings like movies or YouTube videos. Choreography like a dance or theater performance, cheerleading routines, and even fight scenes in movies. Digital resources such as computer software, apps, online journals, blogs, websites, even emails, and images like photos and animations. So even those pictures and backgrounds you swipe from the internet could be intellectual property protected by copyright laws. Copyright laws are automatically applied to work once the work is made. They don't have to be published or registered anywhere either. There's also a symbol you've probably seen that looks like this. If you see it, that means the work is protected by copyright. But things don't have to have it to be protected. And the consequences of breaking copyright laws can be pretty steep. If you don't give credit to the creator of a work when you share it, you're violating copyright laws. You will most likely be given a failing grade by your teachers in middle school and high school. And you will definitely fail in college. And you very well may be kicked out of the college altogether. Jail time and big fines are also likely consequences of breaking this copyright law because basically you're stealing. Copyright sounds a little overwhelming and scary, but it's there to keep everyone honest and give recognition to people who make things. And it keeps information flowing when there's others sharing their intellectual property creations. Plus, it's ethical, which is a word that means it's just the right thing to do because it would be wrong to take something that isn't yours. And thankfully, there are ways to use others' intellectual property to do the research for your report and other schoolwork. And there is also something called fair use. Fair use is a stipulation that allows you to use copyrighted materials without permission from the creator of the material. But the material you use has to meet certain criteria. Copyrighted materials can be used to report the news without violating copyright. It is also not violating copyright when it is being used to express an opinion about the work, like when someone makes comments on it or wants to criticize or critique it. You are allowed to use copyrighted material to change it into something else or something totally different. For instance, a parody. A parody is where you take something that's already been created, like a presidential speech, and use it to make a funny skit on Saturday Night Live or Nickelodeon. But what you need to know right now is that you can use what you need to for educational purposes too, like for a research report that you share with only your teacher or present to your class. You just can't share it with the world by posting it online or making copies of it on the copy maker for every person on our campus. That would be violating copyright. Okay, so you may be saying, how do I make sure that I follow copyright laws for fair use? Well, there are 4 points for fair use that you can use as guidelines when you are looking for research for your report, or when you're looking for your new team's background that abides by fair use too. First, you can use a small portion of a large work. Now, there's no set amount you are allowed to use. Like, nowhere does it say you can use 5% or 10% of a work and be okay. But a paragraph out of a novel is an example of what a small section of a larger work would be. Point number 2 is that you give the original a new meaning. And number 3 states that you are using the material in a different way than what it was originally intended for. Number 4, you can't use it to make money or prevent the creator from making money. This meme of LeBron during the NBA Finals would most likely be fair use because at first, it takes a single still screenshot from a long recording of the game and it is used to make a parody. Second, it took this image and it gave it a completely different meaning. Third, it's used completely differently than the original recording of the game. And number 4, the guy that posted this on Twitter isn't making money on it. He's just making a joke for others to enjoy. Plagiarism is a very important term you need to know. Plagiarism is when you copy something or use something and then pretend it's yours. It could also be when you don't tell other people who you are sharing it with that it is a work from another person. That is a big, big deal, and plagiarism will get you in the biggest trouble, again, because it's stealing. What you have to do is make sure that you don't violate copyright laws and don't plagiarize, and that is to give credit to the creators or authors of the resources you used. You need to do this 2 ways. First, you will make what's called a references page at the end of your report. It looks really strange, but it is just as important as what you wrote in the report. It's the last page and it lists all of the works you used in your report, giving details about the resource. Some of those details include giving the name of the creator or author, the company that published it, and the year it was published, and oftentimes more. You will even have to provide the online URL for each resource that you got online as well. This is so that whoever is reading your work can put it into their web browser and find the same piece of research. See, it looks very different than a written report written in Word or in Google Docs. That's because reference pages are formatted in a special way. This is a reference page I wrote for a research project I just did. Yep, that means it's my intellectual property. Each resource begins on the far right of the page, kind of hanging over the side of the rest of the resources, and they're listed alphabetically by author's name. This reference page has 10 resources. Each of those resources listed include all those details about them, like author or creator, year it was made, publishing company, and URLs if found online. All of those details help the reader locate the source you used, just in case they want to know more themselves. We will learn how you write your references page and how to format it correctly in another lesson. These are paragraphs from a research project I had to write. Here are some examples of another way to give credit to your resources: in-text citations. Highlighted in yellow is a set of parentheses with the author or creator's name and the year the work was created. Citations can also be written by including the author or creator's name in the writing and the year at the end of the sentence in parentheses, like the other examples also highlighted in yellow. Your readers use this information to know what you wrote is not your own, that you're using someone else's work to write your own work. These citations can then lead the reader of your work to the specific source that you listed on your reference page by using the author's name to find the work on your reference page. Then they can find out where it came from. This is another way that the reader can locate the information that you used if they want to. But there are lots of other and different ways to add in-text citations too. Sometimes the citation has a paragraph number or page numbers in the parentheses. And check out the highlights in pink. Anytime you're using something written exactly like it is in the source you're using, you put quotation marks around those words to let the reader know that they aren't your words, but you're using them for the purpose of your report or research. We will learn more about using in-text citations another time. Whoa, that's a lot to take in. But don't worry, there's help. On Clever, in the same databases and online encyclopedias you've been using to find resources for your report, you can get a reference citation generator so that the reader can know exactly what resources you use to get your information, and they can check out that article you used or the song you heard or the Twitter post you saw for themselves if they want to. When using a resource in the Gale database or Britannica School in Clever, at the top of the page will be a cite icon, and at the bottom of the page will be an actual citation. And that will give you a draft citation for your reference page. These citation generators are incredible tools that make your reference pages much easier to complete. Also, there's an app called Noodle Tools in Clever. It allows you to create your own citations by filling in a form or adding sources to a reference page. Reference pages require specific formatting rules, like alphabetizing the list according to the first thing you see for each reference on the page, and Noodle Tools takes care of most of that for you, which you're lucky you will never know what a huge pain in the butt the references page was to write back in my day. There's also an option to help you put those in-text citations in your written work so that you can label the parts of your work that you used to make your research so awesome. But warning, even though these amazing citation generators are available to you, they are not even close to being perfect. It's super helpful that they generate a citation, but it's just a draft until you double check your citations against the reference style manual that you've been assigned to use, or at the Purdue Online Writing Lab at the website listed here. But these are Noodle Tool tools that you will get to know in future lessons. For now, just remember, you have to give credit where credit is due. And those that worked hard on the resources you're using for your work and all the other creators that are sharing their work with others deserve to be, and need to be under copyright law, recognized for their intellectual property. It's just the right thing to do.